Okay, I think the camera's a little bit crooked, but I don't care. I'll deal with it. The topic for tonight is the chapter 2 of the essays for the Bardic Course. The title of this one is Exploring the Druid Identity, and the prompt is reflect on the differences between what we know about ancient Druids and Druids today. Use your reflections to illuminate what a modern Druid's role in society may be. With reference to the 9 strands, illustrate how you can incorporate this role into your life. That part's kind of... I apologize up front. There's a cat right there who's wanting attention, so things may end up getting knocked around. We shall see. Okay. This was my response to the prompt. Druidism has 3 eras before the modern era, and I have discussed this one previously. Proto-Druidism, Ancient Druidism, and Celtic Druidism. It is the Celtic Druidism that modern Druidism has been modeled after. And that's what I think that they're referring to when they say ancient Druids, but until I actually get confirmation of that, but that's my opinion of what they're looking for. Each age of Druidism changed based on the needs of society and the needs of Earth itself. Though I do want to distinguish here that Earth is her vessel and Gaia is the name of the soul, much as we are not our bodies, our vessels. I also call it the biomechanical suit. She is not her vessel. For this assignment, I'm not sure what they call ancient Druidism because their literature that they use for history doesn't break up the ages. I will focus on the 9 strands and fill in the differences as I understand them where applicable. And you'll see how these are all related. It's fun stuff. They have different terms for the word strand. You can call it attributes, roles, things such as this. In the book, she refers to it as strand. The first strand is the tribal dimension. This has been through all forms of Druidism, all ages that I know about anyway. Prior to our modern way, the tribes were in close proximity. Now they are across the internet, with some forming in local areas as people meet and move locations to form groves. In ancient and proto-Druidism, the group of people were called covens, and they met in a sacred grove. In Celtic and modern Druidism, both the group and the location that they meet in is called a grove, and I have discussed that in previous. Often today, people are solitary Druids because their tribe is all over the world, and they gather in a virtual grove, if at all. The purpose of a tribe is to have a common culture with the people you choose to commune with. Culture includes history. Modern Druidism focuses on Celtic history, as distorted as it is, art, such as music, poetry, and prose, and often some amazing paintings come out of the modern tribes, which reflect on the true meaning of Druidism. And of course, there's many other things that incorporate into culture, but those are some of the big things. Cooking methods, but cooking is an art. Which brings us to the second strand, which is art. Art is actually integral to any culture and comes in quite a diversity of forms. Modern anthropologists actually use art to determine the era of certain civilizations they find because it is such a distinct way of identifying the culture. That's why they say this was a religious society. This was an artistic society. Of course, they do say all of it's religious, but yeah. You can see it in just the way music has changed over the past decades. Easiest example I could pull up. Every decade has at least one new genre, while the existing genres morph into something that purists who like the genre would simply deny. When I was growing up, we listened to country, and my parents were all like, "That's not country," because it had changed. So they stuck to their era. To sum this up, creative expression is something that is innate in the human genome. It doesn't matter where you're from. Everyone has some form of creativity, whether accepted by society or not. Strand number 3 is healing, which to me is another form of creativity. In the book, they talk about balance between human and everything else, and how we have lost our status in society, as Druids, of course. My response to that is Earth was hurting so much, she needed us to focus on her and not on fitting in with society. This is why Druidism had to go underground. Gaia called out to us, and our ancestors heeded her call. I'm getting all teary-eyed. Now, she needs us to integrate into society and teach society about the pain she is enduring so we can help her reclaim balance. Healing has never stopped being a part of Druidism. We just changed our focus as needed. Okay. Naturally, the metaphysical domain, which is next, is integral to healing. The Celts broke the other world, and we have many names for it, down by land, sea, and sky. The Trinity has always been important. It is the strongest shape in sacred geometry, but that topic is for another time. Yes, my studying of sacred geometry is on pause while I study the Druidism aspect, and then I'll go back to the sacred geometry portion. Hopefully the Druidism doesn't scare you away until I get to the sacred geometry portion, but we'll see. The Celts and the ancients communed with the other world to gain wisdom and insight. Every ritual they did had this Trinity included. I didn't put it in here, but the Celts actually added in 4 points. So you had the Trinity as well as the 4. And they simply used the guidance they were given in the ritual they were gathered to perform. And the ancients did have the 4 directions, but that was the only thing they did in 4. The Celts added a few other things. Metaphysics were just wait, did I skip something? No. Metaphysics were just another part of nature to them. In my view, you can't be a proper Druid if you shun this integral part of nature. Sorry, someone gets playful this time of night. Seership should be included in metaphysics, in my opinion. Instead, it has its own category. I think this is because some priests, because the church had rolled in, had the gift of seership. So they couldn't call it metaphysics because they said metaphysics was evil to deter nature faiths from being practiced. The book goes into Celtic shamanism here. After all the digging I have done, I believe Druidism and shamanism are the same thing, with Druidism, the name of it anyway, exclusively used by the Celts because of the remnants of the Druids that fled changed the name of their practice, which just makes sense. If they ran away because they didn't want to die, they're going to change the name of what, if they even name it. The book explains that shamanism is a modern term that was broadly applied to ecstatic trance work, by pagans. So it's the same thing. Shamans use underworld, which I labeled sea, middle world, which I labeled land, and upper world, which is sky. So it correlates directly to the trinity of the Druids. The book explains what is called ovates, which is the second rung, was probably the role described here. Ritual is the sixth strand. See how they all kind of blend in? I need a hand. Ritual is simply tapping into the flow of the universe. When you first get started, this is not so easy. Most people struggle with doing a ritual daily. And then I threw in meditation as an example. You know, even if you can only do 5 minutes, it's still good to set aside that 5 minutes and get in the habit and expand out as you can, to help you open up to the messages the universe wants to deliver to you. The book describes that these can be simple or complex ceremonies, something pre-planned or spontaneous. The terrestrial person, and I had to go back in there and put that in there because I got a lot of my, my rune learning from my higher self. So the human person I learned runes from tells his students he doesn't care what ritual you do as long as you do a ritual every day. You can find him on the Thunder Wizard channel on YouTube. He has many videos which mention the importance of ritual. If you want to check out his books, he's got quite a few of them. Search Michael William Denny on Amazon. He's got 3 of them on runes. The point, though, is you cannot commune with the cosmos without actively trying. You have to be able to open up to hear the messages that are coming in. As most people are saying, that they aren't giving me any messages. I keep asking and asking and asking because you haven't learned how to listen yet. Once you learn how to listen, that frustration will go away. Even just taking a walk at sunset would be a beautiful ritual to open yourself up. That's because when you do walking or running or things like that, you just kind of zone out and your ego takes a break and it allows the messages to come in. Natural philosophy is number 7. Yes, they're all related. This is simply connecting with the physical, with the direct physical experience this world has to offer. I like Elizabeth April's term here. I just wanted to be human today. Meaning not connecting with the other stuff and just interacting with the physical world around her and just not doing the otherworldly things. And in many ways she expresses being in her human as a way to express experiencing physical life in all its ups and downs. The book describes natural philosophy as a blend between art and science, searching the outer world as well as going deep within. This is also called bridging science and spirituality, which is what my friend Nolan Zander does on his channel, 9 Elements Ministry. There is a lot of room for both beauty and conflict, which is why Elizabeth April describes it the way she does. It is the duality of being human. Teaching would be the next strand, which just sounds so natural to be at this rung of the ladder. You've learned so much through your experiences, and now it is time to share it. I liked how the book says being a teacher doesn't mean you are an expert. You have simply learned something and share it with others. We all know that teachers are also students. By your students, you'll be taught. Quite often, the teacher lights a spark in the student who then goes deeper into something their teacher did or taught. The teacher then learns. It's a beautiful cycle that should never end. I developed my love of books because I had a teacher who opened me up to that. Good stuff. Good stuff. I often wonder if she's still alive today. Probably not. The 9th strand is service. To me, this is the most important one. She went to sleep. What is the point of learning so much if you're not willing to use it to help others? We have already discussed some services: teaching, healing, art. Yes, art. Stories are used to teach as well as entertain. Cooking is an art. Cooking for those who cannot cook for themselves is using your art as a service. Food kitchens, anyone? I have a friend who does food kitchen stuff. She's been doing it for a very long time. Seership and metaphysics can also be a service. How many are out there using their gift to heal the pain? Let me fix that real quick while I'm here. Of a lost loved one. And here we get those shows like all the various mediums who randomly call up someone and, hey, so-and-so from the other side has said to tell you this. I don't want that job. But it's an important one. One that can be very much valued. I tried to think of a service unrelated to the previous 8 strands and couldn't think of one. The point here is that all these strands are related and integral. While there are 9, they don't necessarily have to be used in this order. If you have not gotten to the first few steps, you can simply experience being human and sweep your mother's floor for her. After she checks you for a fever, she will be grateful for the service you have provided. The prompt for this essay asks for a reflection on the difference between ancient Druids and modern Druids. Refer to the 9 strands and illuminate the modern Druid's role in society. I think I summed these up nicely. The modern Druid's role is the same it has always been: balance. Now is the time to remind humanity that balance is required after centuries of shunning it. I think sharing these 9 strands will show humanity that Druids are not so bad, that we have always been among society and mostly accepted. We simply didn't share all of our inner workings in a public fashion. As for how I incorporate the 9 strands into my life, I already do and have for a long time. Each strand is part of my everyday life, as I feel it should be, for all people who want to be fully in balance. I'm still forming what I would call my tribe. It is very small, but we like each other and have trust, which is difficult to find in this age. We can smell fakeness from miles away. We all have a form of art. Mine is the written word. I am an herbalist, I wrote in parentheses, healer. I meditate and commune with my dragon. If I'm short on time, I just give him a hug and thank him for being there for me. For seership, I use runes for divination, but seership can expand beyond that form. Communing with my dragon, invoking the graces I work with, and morning school for my children are the daily rituals. I am very much in my human all day while the kids are up. If you're a parent, then you know. Teaching and service. You already know about, wait, that is this shit sentence, I think. Oh, yeah, I need to rewrite the sentence. basically it states that I will be expanding what services I provide as I'm able to. But for right now, I'm doing what I can. And that is it on that. I don't think I have anything else to add. Now, I did put out that video asking for comments on whether or not people wanted me to do herbal videos. I haven't seen any comments yet. I did get one like, so I'm actually going to record an herbal video following this one for release next week, and we'll see how that goes. I do still feel a little odd doing an herbal video without some form of demonstration, because all my herbal videos before have been, but those are all on my other channel. I didn't move them over. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how the reception is on that. And once again, I thank you for watching. Have a good night.